Need a search engine optimization SEO services? Then get in touch with our professional and friendly team to learn more about our range of custom and tailored services designed to suit your exact needs. Every one of our professionals have acquired years of experience, which ensures you get the very best. Our experienced staff is waiting to hear from you and to answer any specific questions that you may have on how we can meet your needs. Just ask for a consultation and let us prove our commitment to you as we promise to maintain the highest level of quality and commitment. Your satisfaction is our prime concern. So please, don't hesitate to get in contact with us and let us show you all the great options we have.
And we are the Coalition, loud and proud, outrage porn-free, civilly disobedient media, broadcasting live on the worldwide Coalition Radio Network here at coalitionradionetwork.com, facebook.com/the Coalition Radio, on the mighty Twitter at coalition_radio, and of course the mothership at coalitionradio.us, where you will find links to our Spotify, our Spreaker, our Civil Liberties page, links to our shows from Coalition 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and now some of the work we're starting to do on 4.0. A couple places you can watch this show, obviously on Facebook Live at facebook.com/the Coalition Radio. You can watch it at Spreaker. You can watch it at Periscope at coalition_radio. You can watch it on our YouTube channel. And of course, our new website, which is undergoing some drastic modifications this week, is coalitionradionetwork.com. If you could like us or follow us or subscribe to us at any one of those locations, we would, as always, be grateful. Independent media relies on social media to get its word out, from the government news, from the mainstream news, the lazy news, and all the other white noise that seems to be clogging up the internet these days. Anyone who's listened to this show for any length of time, going even back to our origin in the early 2010s, if you will, understands that this show and this individual who runs the show, and by the way, who is in fact station management, feels very, very strongly about your natural rights. And I say natural rights because those are really, I think, more prescient, more important than, say, your constitutional rights. I'm obviously a fan of the American Constitution. But largely when it comes to natural rights, the Constitution is just, to make that lawsuit a little easier. That explanation a little bit more fundamental. That educational process take place perhaps a little earlier in your life. But the right to self-defense is a natural right, a right so critical and so fundamental to our way of life here in the United States that the most egregious, most poisonous act one can perform in their life, the taking of another's life, can be defended again, fully justified by our judicial system. That's how seriously we take our right to self-defense. The Second Amendment exists for a few reasons. Again, the exercise of one's self-defense. But it also exists not just for hunting, not for playing, not for sports. That's great. That's fundamental, all of them. And it'll be a big part of our conversation tonight. But your right to self-defense is also a right against a tyrannical government. A government that might, for example, start to take away our rights. And so often in the history of those type of governments, it happens not in one bold move, not one middle-of-the-night action. No, it's a slowly dripping process. They drip away. They evaporate before our eyes. So this show, as long as it is allowed to be on the air at some level, in some place, at some point, will defend to this show's death to right to engage in one's self-defense by the use of firearms, if so necessary. In that vein, I'd like to invite a very special guest on. This is his first time appearing on the show. He is appearing on behalf of the Federated Free Basic firearm and shooting classes that are going to be taking place and run by the Federated Rhode Island Sportsman Clubs. I'm talking about Carlos Sousa. If you've worn a gold T-shirt anywhere within a mile of Smith Street, you know him. Carlos, welcome to the show and to the Coalition.
Yeah, so if you look like a banana, it's due to me.
Yeah. I've got to say, your group and the sort of umbrella under which you all operate on is a remarkable group of individuals. We've had a number of them on the show. their commitment to not only just the defense of the Second Amendment, but the defense of the family lifestyle, the sporting, and that other side, the lifestyle side, if you will, of the ability to bear arms has been astonishing. And in so doing so, they are integral to the community life that we know as Rhode Island, really part of the fabric. They raise money for charities, they have youth days, they teach young people about the respect and understanding of firearms. It's a wonderful way of life. I've seen it firsthand in visiting a number of clubs. And again, congratulations, despite a lot of forces working to the contrary. Your organizations, your groups have just an amazing part of what life is like in here in Rhode Island. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. You know, it's a tireless, you know, we're at it every day. You know, it's something that it's my pleasure working with these people. It really is. I see them for what they are, true, wonderful individuals, every single one of them. And it's great that people are now starting to realize how wonderful they are in this community and this community as a whole. You know, we get this bad rap that, you know, we're just gun-toting nuts, but we're not. We're a loving community, and nothing says more than what we're doing now with this free firearm and safety class. We've all seen this. We've seen it on TV. There's been a 135% increase alone in Rhode Island of gun ownership. New people came to the community. 3.5 million guns were sold just the last month and a half. All relatively new shooters, new people. So yes, the Second Amendment is there for this purpose, and that's, you know, that's why we're offering this free safety class. Let's just start by saying it's just a beginner course, right? So the people who went out to the gun stores, who've never shot a firearm before, this course is the one you want to take, because we're going to introduce to you the rules of safe firearm handling. You know, we're going to ingrain, you know, how to load your firearm the correct way. You know, don't go to YouTube. Please don't go to YouTube. You know, we're going to show you. You know, we're going to supply you with your ammunition for your firearm, so that way you can try your firearm, most likely for the first time. You know, so that's what we're doing, and the outpour from the community already. Now, this event's only been out less than a week. I've gotten multiple phone calls from certified instructors saying, "Hey, when you're ready to go, let me know. I'll teach it. Let me know. I'm ready to roll. Just tell me when." You know, and that's what our community is about.
How important, how fundamental is it to everyone's safety, not just folks who choose to use a firearm, and whether it be in sporting or target shooting or competitive shooting or hunting? How important is it in today's life in the year 2020 that every American have an understanding and as well as an acquired respect for the safety issues with you surrounding the use of firearms?
It's very important. You saw the lines. What do people gravitate to save, you know, to get a firearm to save their life, you know, to protect their family. That's what it's all about. You know, it's, you know, I look, you know, the Second Amendment has so many purposes, like you stated in your opening. To me, the Second Amendment is for me to use whatever tool I deem necessary to protect my family. That's it. That's, you know, when you boil it all down, yes, you have the, you know, keep our government in check, but on an individual basis, it's to protect my family for whatever means necessary, or whatever tool necessary. You know, that's what the Second Amendment means to me. You know, and people are quickly realizing that that's what it's there for. And you know, we thank God that, you know, we've done the work in Rhode Island, so that way all these new people had the opportunity to go out to the store and buy an AR with however with a standard capacity magazine. Thank God that we did that work. And
Do you feel that folks who are opposed to gun rights would have a healthier respect and a healthier understanding of firearms if, in fact, they actually went beyond their comfort zone and actually took a course like this?
absolutely, absolutely would. Because they would see the level of dedication and safety that we have in our gun ranges. The Federated puts on. This is nothing new to the Federated. It really isn't. We put on a women's shoot every year, a kids shoot every year, a LGBTQ shoot every year. This is nothing new to us. It really isn't. And the biggest complaint that we get out of it is that we're too safe. We're too cautious. And that's what? If you could walk out of there saying that, then we did a good job. We really did. If we take what we've seen, recently, people have lost their jobs. They went out and spent $500-600 on a firearm. They're not going to have the money right now to drop $400 or $500 on a class. It's just not. So what are they going to do? They're going to go to different, they're going to go to different avenues. They're going to go to YouTube. They're going to go, oh, my cousin, friend who's been around firearms forever, he's going to teach me how to shoot it. And there's a time and place for that, but get your basic. It's like building a house. You have to have a good solid foundation, and get down to this free course. It's a free firearm. We're going to provide you with ammunition. The only thing you have to do is bring your unloaded firearm with you, and you're going to have. I guarantee you're going to have a great time. I really do.
Now, for some folks who will listen, and this is a controversial statement, I don't believe it to be so at all. Bringing children at a young age, obviously where they're aware of themselves, where they're cognizant of their surroundings. Now, that's an age that varies by individual child, but along with a parent or a guardian, to an event like this, I feel very strongly that, number one, their respect, their understanding for firearms will grow significantly. Number two, their understanding of this firearm safety is critical in a household, regardless of where they are. And what do I mean by that? You as a parent might be the best parent in the world. You may have your guns and your equipment locked up securely in a safe. You may have the most advanced storage equipment available. Unfortunately, as a parent, I had eventually had to allow my children to go to other people's homes. I am convinced that if children at a younger age are exposed to the firearms, their power, the responsibility, again, the safety, and I'll keep drumming those words in, accidents that could occur at someone else's home who may not be as responsible, who may, in fact, have a family member present or a friend present who is in violation of the law in their ownership of the gun. Suddenly surrounding children with that who have never been around guns, who don't understand their awesome power, I believe is endangering your child. It's your responsibility as a parent in the year 2020 to make sure that your children are comfortable around water, they're comfortable around firearms, they're comfortable around vehicles, all the things that are part of everyday life. Regardless of how we feel about them, regardless of how sheltered we think we can keep our children, I'll ask you another, I think, pretty straightforward question for both of us. How important is it for you to have your children, even as a non-gun owner, have an understanding about firearms?
Well, didn't they used to teach that in school?
You used to teach a lot of things in school, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I have 3 kids, and 2 girls and a boy. I brought my kids to the range when I felt that they were ready. My oldest, I believe she was 8. My son was a little bit younger, I think 6, and my youngest was a little bit later, I think 10. But they knew from the beginning, this is something you don't touch. This is something you if you see it, you come get daddy, or you get an adult. You stay away from this. And it was ingrained in them. I shot my first firearm when I was 5 years old. My dad took me to the range, and he said, "Son, this is what we have around the house." So I shot it, I fell in love with it, and he said, "Look," and it still reigns to me now. You can never take one of these projectiles back, ever. Oh. So you are going to be responsible for this. And to this day, it's what I ingrained in my kids. Mistakes only happen when you're careless. So they know if they see, now they're older now, but when they were younger, if they see a firearm, no matter what it is, they get an adult. They don't touch it. And I feel every parent should teach that. Absolutely. If you take firearms out of the equation and if they see, a needle on the ground, are they going to touch it? No, they're going to get mommy or daddy. It's the same premise, right? So you just, and it's all personal responsibility. We got to teach our kids. If they see a firearm, go get an adult. We tell our kids, if you're lost in a store, what do you go see? You look for an adult. That's what we got to ingrain in our kids. And I feel that's missing right now.
Just as importantly, what's missing from a lot of children, and sometimes it's because of the challenges they face in their young life, financially or economically, but is also the ability to at least experience the outdoor life, the hunting, the fishing, the gaming life, while they're still young. Your organization does a lot to enable that. Tell us about some of the other activities that your organization sponsors for people across the state.
Well, right now, Nick is on a Zoom call with DEM, and they're looking to decrease the size of salmon, from 15 to 11 inches. So that's what we do. We work hand in hand with DEM. We're just not firearms related. We're out there hunting, fishing. Out there. We lobby DEM just as hard as we lobby the legislators. So yeah, we're out there. We do it all. We fight for the Second Amendment. We're out there lobbying for all our gun clubs in the state, and we're out there with DEM. Lobbying for everything, hunting restrictions. We're trying to fight those land grabs. We're trying to fight that. We do it all. We do it all.
If you don't mind mentioning some of the clubs that are part of your organization, because I think what folks will be surprised by, number one, how many there are, and just how local to their own day-to-day lives some of these organizations are that they may not know about.
Right now, the Federated is represented by 29 gun clubs.
Wow. Okay.
29 gun clubs. We are expanding. We're offering we're offering a membership to the Federated. That's the first time it's ever happened. Both a business and a personal membership. Because you don't know until you get involved and how vast. In our monthly meetings, DEM is they're there every month. And they're bouncing things back and forth. So yeah, we just don't do firearms. We do it all, and we work hand in hand with the other four groups. The Rhode Island Second Amendment Coalition, Rhode Island Revolver, Rhode Island Rifle, and Glenn's group, Firearm. He's gonna kill me. Firearm Owners League. That's it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So all four groups work hand in hand. When it comes to two-way stuff, can't count how many hours we work together.
Excellent. Talk to us about the event itself. So what's on the plans that day? How early do you start? Right. What do you need to bring?
So essentially what we want people to do is we want people to sign up. All right. So that way once we get the okay from the governor and the whole, more than 25 people, what we're going to do is wherever we see where the clusters are throughout the state, because it's Rhode Island, we don't like crossing bridges, right? So for an example, say we get a big cluster down in North Kingston area. Well, obviously it makes sense for us to have an event, a course down there. So it's going to be mobile throughout the state to where the demand is. All they have to do is sign in, reserve your spot, tell us, what type of firearm you had recently purchased. Is it a handgun? Is it a rifle? Is it a shotgun? And what caliber? So that way we're providing all the ammunition.
Wow. Okay.
So that way we know that we'll know what to bring. And it's just not opened up. It's just not open to the new shooters. If you're curious, sign up, come down. I can guarantee you this: if you walk out of there and you didn't find it informational, I'll refund your cost of admission. If there's it's going to be about a 2-hour class, and at the end of it, you're going to end up shooting your own handgun or rifle or shotgun, and you're going to learn safety, and that's the basic of the foundation. You're going to learn safety. I attribute it to like playing golf, right? My second passion is golf, right? If I go out and buy some new golf clubs, that doesn't make me a golfer. That makes me a person who went out and bought golf clubs. It's going to the driving range, spending countless hours. It's getting professional help, learning how to hit that damn ball straight. So that's, just because you went out and got a shotgun, for example, doesn't mean that you're proficient with that shotgun. We all have, there's a stereotype that, I'll just point and click and boom, because it's a shotgun. Well, that's wrong. That narrative is wrong. You're going to have some aiming and some grasp of knowledge of how to use that shotgun. So, and we're going to provide you with that basic information, so that way you can move on to get better training and to the professionals. And they are true professionals, people who do this for a living. And that's the cost.
So the people, very strong point of emphasis here. The people who will actually be conducting the training are not only folks who've got a great deal of experience using firearms, but these are certified instructors who've passed a rigorous course. Tell me a little bit about the course, because that's fascinating to me. I mean, I was amazed at the meetings that I've been to, how many folks have taken their training to such an extreme level. In order to be certified to teach a course like this, give us as thorough a breakdown as you can on what people have to learn and what people have to understand.
Well, NRA offers a certification, which I believe I could be wrong, I believe it's a 30-hour or 40-hour class. Mm-hmm. That's just their basic course, and then you go up to level 2, which I believe is an 80-hour course.
Wow. And
then the third level, again, it's just a general. I think the third level is, I forget, but I know it's multiple days, and it never ends. You're always training. It never ends. You're always teaching. You're always adapting to new concepts. So yes, all of our instructors have been in the industry for multiple years, and they're all NRA certified instructors.
Okay.
It's just not Uncle Sam, who's been around guns for 20 years, and he's going to teach you how to shoot.
Now, are they going to start with things like safe storage and giving people an understanding of how to store firearms? Tell us a little about that, particularly with regard to handguns. That's an issue of great contention amongst those who would limit our access to firearms. Talk about the type of training that you get in terms of how to store your firearms safely, properly, and away from children.
If you have a firearm, now, again, it goes to the individual, right? So personally, all my firearms are locked up in the safe. Every single one of them. that's the just, if you have a firearm, it should be locked up. For at least put a trigger safety lock on it. That's the bare minimum. Put one of those trigger safety locks on there. If you're gonna store it, in your top drawer or whatever. But I don't recommend that. I put it in, go to BJ's and spend $25 on one of those safes. That's the basic, lock it up, period. Unloaded, lock it up. And that's what I do. All my firearms are locked up in my safe.
Mm-hmm.
So, just don't leave it on your top, on your sock drawer loaded, because that's how we get in trouble.
Yeah, that's how people get hurt. And again, it's the folks who haven't been certified, haven't been trained, haven't taken courses like this, are irresponsible, and are often the very ones to whom gun laws should be aimed, but are usually the ones that aren't. Usually those are the folks who didn't buy the gun legally, didn't take any safety training, and for them, it's more of a object to show off than it is considered a serious weapon. So again, so you're going to get courses, you're going to get some work on how to store it. Carrying right. I was going to say carrying a firearm. Now, Rhode Island, I'm going to assume most people don't know, is not an open carry state. Or how are there outside of law enforcement? Is there anyone in Rhode Island who's allowed any open carry? And I'm going to use this term very loosely. My friend John Fennis, if he hears this, will start bolt right up because it is not a privilege. But who, by the good grace of the Rhode Island government, has the privilege of carrying weapons on an open carry basis? I don't think anybody.
there isn't one. There isn't none. There's some to make. No, I'm just going to leave it at that. You cannot open carry a firearm in the state of Rhode Island legally.
Right.
Period. Period. I've seen it online. But no, you can't. Yeah.
Why do folks? I would prefer to know who's armed. I'm not afraid of weapons. I've shot them. I'm not a hobbyist. My hobby is trying to be an expert on the radio. But I've seen and I've known in my personal life some highly skilled marksmen, including my father, who, by the way, who's about to celebrate his 97th birthday, and a double Purple Heart winner in World War II, who was highly accomplished as a rifleman during the Italian campaign. So I grew up admiring that, but it's a personal choice. But how is it that the differentiating force, if you will, between folks who often illegally carry and the folks who've gone through these courses? Why are we so opposed to knowing who's carrying a firearm? What's the rationalization?
Well, it's called concealed carry for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, getting into the weeds, I think that concealed carry allows you that second and a half of when, oh no, something's happening, and now you have the time to react, and nobody knows that you're carrying.
Okay.
That's because, honestly, if you're a bad guy or intent to do evil, who are you going to go after first? You're going to go after the guy with the gun.
Right.
If it's open, even if he's open carrying, So it allows me that 2 to 2 second hesitation where is he armed or not?
A great deal of controversy has been surrounding the governor's office during this whole COVID period because of her extension of the waiting time, if you will. How difficult is it to get a concealed carry permit right now in the state of Rhode Island?
Well, I can tell you right now, they got a concealed carry permit. If you were to start prior to COVID, it's a good 6 to 8 month process.
Mm-hmm.
From start to finish, and it's extensive. They pry into your background, and rightfully so. because you are going to be an armed civilian. So it takes a very long time, and it's past. Now I would probably say that it's pushed out to probably a year and a half, maybe a year and 2 months. Again, I haven't heard of anything yet of how long it's been taken, but I can only assume it's pushed out.
Right.
But on a good day, and it's 6 to 8 months.
Okay. Now, at this training, the first time I ever handled a firearm of any significance, I was probably about 11 years old, which made me positively ancient on the streets of New Jersey that I grew up on. And in that one afternoon, I shot a shotgun for the first time. I was actually at a police facility, so I actually got to handle what we refer to as a Thompson submachine gun, or Tommy gun. And later on, I had the bruises to show for it. In terms of your first training, how in terms of working with recoil and some of the more dramatic aspects of using a weapon, is that covered in the training as well? I would imagine, based on the type of purchasers you're looking at, some of these folks are literally going to be first-time owners.
Absolutely. Yeah, we go over recoil management. That's something that we're going to go over because, you're right. It's probably be their first time shooting a firearm. So yes, we will go over what to expect. Because it is. You know what? I broke my nose shooting an M1 Garand. I was, it happens. So yeah, absolutely. That is one of the things of what to expect. When you press that trigger. Absolutely. That is going to be. Now we're going to go over how to properly load your magazines. Or load your firearm. We're gonna go over the rules of fire, the 5 safety rules. We're gonna go over the key essentials for a first time shooter. Hey, this is what you want to do to start off with. So everything that encompasses in that, this is what we're gonna do. And then from there, send them on their way to get better training through professionals.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do. When we're gonna touch upon how to transport a firearm in Rhode Island, because quite honestly, a lot of people don't know.
I wouldn't firearms.
Keep the ammunition and the firearms separate in two different locked containers. So that's part of what we're gonna tell instruct people on how to do that. It's going to be a very safe but basic course where we can invite people who are new to the game on. Look, this is how you safe. Don't go on YouTube. Please don't go on YouTube. Please don't go on YouTube, and learn how to load your firearm. We're going to show you how to do it the correct way and the safe way. And we're going to show you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Now, I was going to say, now, if someone hasn't, excuse me, if someone has not yet purchased a firearm yet and they're considering it, is there going to be an opportunity to handle firearms?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely, we'll have some there. And absolutely sign up, go through the course, and tell us you don't have a firearm, and you'll be able to shoot.
So and the critical importance here is you're going to be having an opportunity to talk to folks for whom the sports use of guns, the defensive use of guns, the mechanics of guns are part of their everyday life. So when evaluating your purchase, you're not going to go into some big box department store, the few that are left that sell guns. You're not going to be talking to your neighbor's friend or your buddy's buddy. You'll have a chance, if you're assessing what type of firearm should be part of your life, you'll have an opportunity, I guess, then to talk to people who can give you some practical advice as to what to buy, what to reasonably expect it to cost. In other words, this could be as much be a primer as sort of a how-to in order to do this, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We'll put a firearm in your hand and shoot it and tell me if you like it. You know, guarantee you will. Guarantee you will. You know, or shoot one of those big scary black rifles. Guarantee you like it. You know, guarantee you just come in with an open mind, and I can guarantee you'll have a fun time.
Now I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Carlos. All right. So what you're saying is, if I appear that day, then none other than Carlos Sousa will spend a few minutes with me, assessing perhaps giving me again. I support gun rights. It's fundamental to my worldview, but I just haven't used it that much in my life. So if I come to that event, you or one of your highly skilled instructors will take a middle-aged guy, and I'm being kind here, a middle-aged guy, who hasn't spent time with firearms in probably 30 plus years, and you'll give him a little help. Is that a promise?
Absolutely, absolutely, guaranteed. You will walk out of there, and guaranteed you'll have a great time. Absolutely.
I'm going to put you on the spot because I will be signing up, and again, it's because it's important to me personally. It's one thing for me to sit here and give dissertations on it. I don't personally have enough personal experience, if you will, myself. But again, I'm intractable. Cannot be convinced, and some of my friends on different sides of the aisle have been shocked by the passion I have for what I consider a birthright, the right to engage. Again, you'll hear me time and time again, the right to engage in one's self-defense. Because ultimately, you don't decide personally what you need to defend yourself. It's situational. And the notion that you can pick or choose and that the other guy will play by the same rules, particularly in a world like today, is let's just say, naive at best. And ultimately waiting for someone else to defend you will get you killed. It's a scary world we're in right now.
True. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And particularly for marginalized communities and we've got a friend who's done a lot yeoman's work training folks in the LGBTQ community, because folks in that community are some of the most off-targeted, highly targeted individuals in America. Now, is that fair? No, it's not. Is it highly biased? Yes, it is. But those folks are the target of a risk of personal violence that's exponentially higher than Carlos and you and I. Women, women need to be educated as well, because I think our shared fear is that people will buy firearms, not know how to use them, and ultimately not understand, again, the situational environments when it's appropriate to use them or how to use them. And that's when you introduce danger and chaos into people's homes and into people's relationships. That's my biggest fear. So
my biggest fear is, being human nature, right? So we have all these dupe people that went out and purchased a firearm, and so they went and they loaded the firearm and stuck it in the drawer, put it in the closet somewhere, right? And then 6 months from now, it's going to be, I forgot all about it, and a tragedy happens.
Right.
That's honestly why the Federated is behind this 110%, because we want you to know, the rules and the safety of what's behind owning a firearm, and that's why it's free. I just had this conversation with someone today. They said, people right now, they went out and spent $600 or whatever, hundreds of dollars on a firearm, and then in what ammunition at absurd amount of money. They're not going to have the $400 or $500 for a safety cost.
Right.
So you know what? Federated and all the groups stepped up and said, you know what? We're going to do it for free. We're going to have you come out and we're going to train you for free. And we'll get you a yellow shirt. That's it's invaluable. It's an invaluable experience, and you know what? Just come on out, and I guarantee you're going to enjoy yourself, and you're going to learn a lot.
There are a few times in the course of a show like this when I can guarantee that lives will be saved by the group of by the efforts of a group of volunteers, I should say. And this is one of them. The safe professional use of firearms as taught to you by disciplined professionals in an environment where you've got the appropriate range, the appropriate tools, the appropriate safety tools, the buffer, everything you need really to have a once-in-a-lifetime shot, for lack of a better term, at gaining an understanding, a comprehension, a familiarity is going to occur here. And so
absolutely,
if you have, I can't stress enough, if you have youngest children, not tiny tots, but if you have young, just before preteen children, then you need to bring them here. Again, you may not ever have a gun in your home, but I will guarantee you that at some point in your life, the odds are, statistically, that your child will encounter a gun. And it shouldn't be the first time they've ever seen one. That gun should not be the object in their minds of some fantasy shoot-'em-up video game. That gun should be acknowledged for what it is. Right? Absolutely. And if you're a member of any of these communities, and particularly if money is an issue, you've got a once-in-a-lifetime chance, if you will. Not once in a lifetime, but you understand. It's not often that this happens, where you can sit down with professionals and really discuss all of the issues surrounding firearm ownership, the use of firearms, safe storage of firearms. It doesn't happen very often, not because of the lack of goodwill, but timing, the consideration, the facilities, it all has to work. So I'm urging people to take that time. And if you're very political, and you may not be supportive of gun ownership rights, I think I know the folks well enough in these organizations to know that if you were to show up with a smile and a handshake, well, we can't do that anymore, but a smile and the chicken wing, all right. I think I think it would be, in my mind, an act of personal courage, because you're saying to the rest of the people in the community, I may not know everything. Let's have an intellectual curiosity about this, so that if I'm going to be in a position where I'm passing laws, I'm impacting other people's, again, basic fundamental rights, then it is incumbent upon me to reach across the aisle, reach across boundaries, and engage with other people in your community who are clearly professional and clearly well-meaning. It's a real opportunity to move past these divides that we seem to have on these basic issues. No one's going to scream at you. No one's going to yell at you. In fact, quite frankly, my take, and I'd love your comment on this, my take is that if someone, a well-known, if you will, politician who's opposed to gun rights showed up at one of these events, I have a feeling they'd be welcomed with open arms.
Absolutely. I don't care what your politics are. The Federal doesn't care what your politics are. Just come down and just be exposed. You're right. If the most anti-gun person in the state showed up to our event and said, I want to just take the course. I don't want to shoot anything. I just want to take the course. That person would be welcomed with open arms. Right.
And maybe, just maybe, let's get a little crazy here. Maybe then there would be a grounds for a mutual, are you ready for this? Conversation. Not edicts, not laws, not pronouncements, not, And wouldn't it be wouldn't it be a lot better if there was more conversation in this state? And that folks, thousands of ordinary Rhode Islanders didn't feel like they had to be driven out of their homes just a few months ago because there were going to be 18 laws passed on gun night at the General Assembly. Gun night, right. That they felt that their duly elected representative, state senator, state representative, mayor, maybe appointed in the form of a police chief, actually decided to come across that line and trying to come together with an mutual understanding. Listen, opinions don't have to be changed. Converts don't have to be made. We simply need a playing field where folks are willing to engage each other like adults. And
Pat, I'm going to say something that's probably going to get me in trouble.
Okay. We hate that on the radio when you do that. But go ahead.
So you got the anti-gun groups and you got the gun groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
They are more alike than they are not alike. They both groups want the same thing. Okay, mm-hmm. They want people to be safe. All right. Now, the anti-group says, well, we got to take away your firearms. right? So, and that's where the big divide is.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, if you take the politics and everything out of the equation, is both groups want people to be safe, and if we can just agree on that and move forward and have conversations that are meaningful, it's a start. It's a start.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, tell again, folks, where folks can, we shared as part of our pre-show, if you will, publicity, the link to an event, but give folks an opportunity to find where they can find you on the World Wide Web in terms of a Facebook page and your website.
All right. So right now, the event, and it's not up on the website yet. It's going to be on hopefully by the end of the week. Right now, the event page is where you can go and register is on the Federated Facebook page. So it's RI Federated Sportsmen. Look that up, and we're on Facebook. And the event page is right there. And then from there, it's going to be on the Federated Rhode Island Sportsmen's website, probably at the end of the week. So that's where that's there. And it's going to be shared. It's going to be, throughout, we're going to share it on all social media, once we start gearing up and ramping up our classes. And let me just say, this is not just going to be one class. This is going to be multiple classes throughout the state at different days. So it's just not one class.
Right.
I wanted to get that out there too.
Right. Friday, August 20th. I was going to say Friday, August 21st at 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at various locations around Rhode Island in order to comply with the governor's 25-person limit. You're asking people to sign up ahead of time for a couple of important reasons. You are willing to supply ammunition. You also want to have an understanding of which weaponry individual folks might be looking for assistance with, and that's going to be critical in terms of planning the event. Because astonishingly enough, you've got an event happening on a Friday, which is going to be conducted at various places throughout the state using various types of firearms with various forms of instruction by different groups of people, all brought together again so that people are safe. No other,
absolutely,
no agenda, no politics.
Nope.
The entire. In fact, I'll come and I'll spend 2 hours without talking politics. I'll promise that, unless somebody asks. Well, listen, Carlos, I'm really grateful you joined us tonight. This will be available on the Facebook and on YouTube, and I'll send you guys a link to this, and hopefully you'll find it helpful. And I want to thank everybody in the 2A community who's been kind enough to join me on the air. Glenn, just a bunch of people. I want you to know that both sides are always welcome here. And I've got friends on both sides because it's all about conversation. And this is an issue that's best described and subscribed to outside of, as I like to call it, Halitosis Hall. Because when we all get to the State House, the emotions are high, people are hot. You've got people out there preying on people's emotions with this issue. I invite continued conversation about here on this show. It's in a commercial-free environment, non-judgmental, and where there's an allowance for an extended conversation like this. So to my friends in the 2A community who might be listening tonight, feel free to reach out to me, follow the show, and let us know how we can continue to advocate for that kind of conversation that needs to take place in the state, because you've got a home here, and I want you all to know that.
Awesome.
All right, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, great. We're going to take a quick break right now. After that, we're going to go to an open mic, and we're going to be off the air for about 3 or 4 minutes or so. We're going to ask people to talk about their experiences with unemployment compensation. Yes. 401-205-3738. We are the Coalition, loud and proud, outrage porn free, civilly disobedient media, broadcasting live on the Worldwide Coalition Radio Network at coalitionradionetwork.com, facebook.com/the Coalition Radio, on the mighty Twitter at Coalition_radio, and of course the mothership at coalitionradio.us. Folks, if you could spend a moment and like us or follow us on any of those platforms, we would be ever so grateful. And of course, a thanks to our sponsor tonight, Local SEO. You'll see there a little commercial before or afterwards. another gentleman who runs that, who is a member of the 2A community, and supports challenging, controversial, independent programming like this. So he deserves your support. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Need a search engine optimization SEO services? Then get in touch with our professional and friendly team to learn more about our range of custom and tailored services designed to suit your exact needs. Every one of our professionals have acquired years of experience, which ensures you get the very best. Our experienced staff is waiting to hear from you and to answer any specific questions that you may have on how we can meet your needs. Just ask for a consultation and let us prove our commitment to you, as we promise to maintain the highest level of quality and commitment. Your satisfaction is our prime concern. So please, don't hesitate to get in contact with us and let us show you all the great options we have.